ever feel like there's this voice inside, like whispering, what if I'm not good enough? Today we're going to dive into self-doubt, and we're using Mario Lanzarotti's TEDx Talk as a guide.
Okay.
And he actually says that self-doubt, it can be a good thing.
Huh.
So we're gonna explore that, how that can be.
So Lanzarotti, he kind of starts by, define what self-doubt is.
Yeah.
And he describes it as, well, like that inner critic.
Yeah.
It pops up, when we're really trying to achieve something, something big.
Right.
It makes us question, like, whether we can actually solve the problems, to reach those goals.
It's like when you're about to give a presentation.
Yeah.
And suddenly you're thinking like, oh, what if I just totally blank out?
Yeah.
Or you're up for promotion.
Yeah.
But then, that doubt comes in. Am I even qualified?
Exactly. And the thing is that, that self-doubt can kind of send us down the wrong path.
Okay.
Like we start chasing, what we should be doing instead of what we really, are passionate about.
Right.
Which really lights us up,
Didn't Lanzarotti have a story about this?
He did. He actually wanted to be a pilot.
Oh, wow.
But,
Yeah.
he had a lot of self-doubt, and it almost stopped him from even trying.
It's kind of crazy how self-doubt can show up.
Yeah.
Even when it seems like you have it all.
Right.
I bet a lot of people just try and hide that self-doubt, though.
Oh, yeah. A lot of us think we're the only ones
Yeah.
dealing with this, so we just, try to deal with it ourselves.
Yeah, keep it all bubbled up.
Instead of, asking for help.
So the first key that Lanzarotti talks about is vulnerability as strength.
Right.
He talked about how he confided in a pilot who had a lot of experience.
Right.
And the pilot told him that, everybody has self-doubt.
It's true.
Even the pros.
Even the pros.
So it's really about recognizing that everyone is struggling with this.
We're not alone in this.
And when we open up to people we trust, it can really help us be more courageous.
It's like you said, vulnerability is strength.
Yeah.
Like letting in fresh air into a stuffy room.
Mm-hmm.
It just breaks that hold of self-doubt.
Yeah, it makes me think about, times when I've confided in a friend.
Oh, yeah.
And you just instantly feel lighter.
Yeah, it's like, it's okay to not be perfect.
And then you can get support and,
you can
grow from that.
And that leads us to Lanzarotti's second key.
Okay.
Which
It's
is...
going to sound a little counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Befriend the doubt.
Befriend the doubt.
Isn't the whole point to like get rid of self-doubt?
Yeah, a lot of people say that, eliminate it.
Right.
But Lanzarotti says instead of resisting it, we should try to, reframe our relationship with it.
Okay.
He actually says it's a losing battle to try to eradicate doubt completely.
So instead of seeing it as like an enemy, we should see it as like a friend.
Yeah, how do we do that?
How do we even start to do that?
So think of self-doubt as a signal.
Okay.
It's a reminder to, fill up our self-love tank.
And when those doubts come up,
yeah,
we should just, do something nice for ourselves.
Yeah, do something that it nurtures, self-compassion.
So instead of getting caught up in those negative thoughts, we can just be nice to ourselves.
Right.
Okay, so what are some of those things?
So Lanzarotti calls it a self-love toolkit.
Okay.
Like, journaling to process your feelings.
Yeah.
Spending time, like, out in nature.
Mm-hmm.
Or doing something creative, that you enjoy.
So it's really about, consciously doing those things that make you feel good.
Yeah, replenish those inner resources.
Okay, so we're shifting the focus from fighting the doubt to taking care of ourselves.
Exactly.
But what about, when you make a decision and then later on the doubt creeps in?
Oh, yeah.
And you start questioning your choice.
That's where Lanzarotti's third key comes in. Forgiveness fuels progress.
He actually said that in his journey to becoming a pilot.
Yeah.
He realized that, maybe it wasn't really for him.
Sometimes self-doubt is trying to tell us something.
Yeah.
Maybe our goal and our desires don't actually match.
So instead of just like pushing through the doubt, sometimes we should just listen to it.
Yeah.
Okay. But a lot of people struggle with letting go of past mistakes.
Oh, for sure.
So how does forgiveness play into this?
Lanzarotti says that if we dwell on past failures, we just stay stuck.
Yeah.
Forgiveness, he says. It's not about saying, in case the mistakes were okay.
Okay.
It's about acknowledging that, we had limitations.
Uh-huh.
And we can learn from them.
It's about recognizing that we did the best we could at the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's about being kind to our past selves.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us need to work on that.
For sure.
I think Lanzarotti actually had a quote about this.
He did. He said,
about forgiveness.
The fact that you acted the way you acted is all the proof you need to know that you couldn't have acted in any other way.
Wow. That's That's deep.
And what he's saying is that forgiveness, is connected to achieving our dreams.
Okay.
He says not knowing how to deal with our doubts, it delays our dreams.
Interesting.
Yeah. So what he's saying is, holding on to all that guilt and shame and regret,
Yeah.
it can really hold us back.
Yeah, like we're carrying all those past mistakes with us.
Right. And so forgiveness, it's not about, like you said, saying the mistakes were okay.
Yeah.
It's about letting go of that self-judgment.
It's about giving ourselves permission to learn from it and move on.
Exactly. Create space for new possibilities.
That makes me think about what we were talking about before,
Uh-huh.
about befriending the doubt.
Right.
How does forgiveness, tie into that?
When we hold on to all that regret,
Yeah.
it just fuels that self-doubt.
It's like it makes us think we're not good enough.
Yeah, not capable, not worthy.
And then the doubt just leads to more negative thoughts.
And it just keeps going and going.
It's a vicious cycle. But
Yeah.
when we forgive ourselves, we can break free.
Yeah.
We can start to see ourselves with more compassion.
More understanding.
And maybe see that self-doubt in a new way.
Right. Not as this enemy to conquer.
Yeah.
But as a way to grow and, discover ourselves.
Lanzarotti also talks about, not needing to be completely fearless.
Right.
To reach our goals.
He says that, as long as we're human,
yeah,
we're going to have, some fear.
There's always going to be some doubt.
Exactly.
It's like, people say just believe in yourself,
Yeah.
but it's not always that simple.
That at all.
And the more to try to resist it,
the stronger it gets.
yeah, like it's a tug of war.
Exactly.
The harder you call.
The more resistance.
So by trying to fight the doubt,
we're actually giving it more power.
it's like we're making it worse.
Yeah. And that's why Lanzarotti says we should, embrace it.
Embrace the doubt.
Yeah, learn from it.
How do we actually do that?
Remember that self-love tea kit?
Oh yeah, with the journaling and spending time in nature and all that. Exactly. When those doubts come up, we
respond with self-compassion.
Okay, we take care of ourselves.
Exactly.
So it's really about recognizing that, we're feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Or just depleted.
And instead of fighting it, address it with self-care.
So we're taking back control instead of letting the doubt control us.
Yeah.
And as we do this, we start to build our self-worth.
Right, a sense of self-worth that's not based on,
our achievements or anything external.
Lanzarotti says true freedom is when we don't need that validation for others.
Yeah, when you're always trying to get approval from other people.
Yeah, it's so easy to
fall into that trap of self-doubt.
Exactly, but when we have that self-love,
we accept ourselves.
It's like we have this inner strength.
And we can pursue our goals with
Yes,
clarity.
with purpose, with clarity.
He even says,
doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will.
That is powerful.
It really shows how important this is.
If we want to live a good life.
What if instead of seeing self-doubt as the enemy, we saw it as like a guide?
Okay.
Or a teacher trying to point us in the right direction.
So instead of trying to shut it up,
yeah,
we can actually listen to it.
Exactly. Lanzarotti actually found that
okay,
that self-doubt might be telling us something really important.
It might be telling us that our goals and our desires don't actually match.
Right. So sometimes it's not about pushing through, but about listening.
What do you think listening?
Lanzarotti says that, we often chase goals because we think they'll bring us happiness.
We think, once we get that promotion or whatever,
we'll finally feel good.
Yeah, but what happens when we get there?
Yeah.
And we're still not happy?
Yeah, it can be really disappointing.
I think we've all been there.
Lanzarotti says this is a sign that
we've been focusing too much on
external validation
instead of what really matters.
Connecting with ourselves.
So it's not about, giving up on our goals.
It's about making sure those goals actually align with
our values, our patterns.
Exactly.
And that's where self-doubt can be a good thing.
It's like a compass.
It can guide us
to the right path.
The path to our true selves.
Yeah, and as we do that, we unlock our true potential.
We become stronger, more authentic, more empowered.
But we'll dive deeper into that.
And the final part of our deep dive. So we've been, exploring this whole idea of embracing self-doubt.
Right.
Instead of letting it, control us.
Yeah, using it to grow.
And Lanzarotti says when we do that,
we
can really discover, who we really are.
Like we're uncovering this person we've been searching for.
It's kind of like a hero's journey.
Oh.
You face your demons and
you come out stronger.
Yeah. And Lanzarotti talks about, moving from our heads to our hearts.
That's where self-doubt lives.
Up in our head.
Our heads.
And that's where all those, what if scenarios come from.
It feeds on that illusion.
But our hearts, they don't believe that.
Our hearts know, our worth, our capabilities.
And when we can tap into that, that heart wisdom,
the self-doubt loses its grip.
And it's like we can see the world in a whole new way.
With love, with compassion.
It makes me think about those times when I finally did something that really scared me.
And you realize, you're capable of so much more
than you thought.
And that's what's so amazing about this whole thing,
Yeah.
embracing self-doubt. It can actually help us grow
Yeah, it can. It can guide us.
to our true selves.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to ask you, listener,
Yeah.
what would it look like for you to really embrace, vulnerability and self-love and forgiveness?
What dream would you go after?
What goals would you pursue if you weren't afraid?
What step could you take today, to move towards that?
Even a small step can make a big difference.
It can create a ripple effect.
Thanks for joining us on this journey into self-doubt.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Keep exploring and keep believing in yourself.